Choujin X Chapter 44. Now, first and foremost, I gotta say, Palma is not dead. I was wrong. I thought she was gonna be clapped up after the last, well, I was gonna say episode, but after the last chapter. Second thing to note, our boy Simon got the Volume 8 cover. Now, wasn't really involved in the volume whatsoever, but this may mean we might get what we've been waiting for, the Momoma cover for Volume 9. And if not that, then it may mean that Simon may get some more showtime in the near future, because we did just see the Nude Chimera a couple of chapters ago. Now with Ishida, one thing I must remember is that with these volume covers, I must dive deeper. I must get a magnifying glass. And shout out to UI Vert, because I didn't even notice this, but within that mark that I believe symbolizes a blade, there is a phrase written in Latin that roughly translates to, "A superior man must be a better man," which I believe comes straight from the soul of Sui Ishida, because I tried to scour the internet with any type of reference to where that may have came from, but nothing came up. So hey man, I gotta give all credit to Sui Ishida on the pen game. Now as for chapter 45, we are gearing up for another voyage, another mission outside of Yamato, and in this one I will be going over the chapter in the sequence of events that basically they delivered it, beginning with Nude and his new connection to Palma. Now basically we are in a situation where Nude finds himself in a house arrest, a parole, or even a witness protection, because with this advanced revival received from Palma, Nude will require regular transfusions in order to maintain his life. Now, as long as Palma remains affiliated with Yamato Mori, Nude should stay relatively safe. However, he is currently on his way to Daizo to aid the mission, and these Choujin trips tend to become chaotic, to say the least. Now, for a quick second, we are going to insert ourselves into the Sato sus scale, because I did not like the way he ended this conversation, this little moment he had with Palma. It was like, come on, bro, be nice. But moving forward, we got some background details on Palma, the island of Morth, her taking 2 months to swim to Yamato from Morth, and of course her ties to an ancient ruler, a former Choujin X, Bill Morth, who, by the way, has a silhouette that kind of resembles the Tower Choujin Elder Vlad. However, it seems that at this point, Bill is ancient history, but his name did continue to live on through the tales and long lives of the people of Morth. Now, I'm actually surprised that the Bill Morth era was so long ago, being that there have only been a handful of Choujin with the title X, but this actually did give me more clarification on what calculates as a generation. So rather than being a measurement of time, it is dependent on having a tremendous impact and shifting the current era into something different. Also, the genealogy of the Morth Island serves as an interesting backstory while at the same time being efficient, because we were given essentially 2,000 years of history without it even being rushed or feeling like an afterthought. Now, the lore of the island is that it's a place where nothing could grow. Those who lived there survived due to a special power passed down by Bill Morth, who shared his blood with the people, ensuring that his empire would last and that the citizens could survive the barren lands. However, this gift of longevity, where people would live for hundreds of years without the need of food or water, became a curse as generations passed and the bloodline diminished. This would cause mutations within the power, leading to hunger and then cannibalism. Now back at Yamato Mori, Palma is given the chance to interrogate Nude, which leads to information of a poppy field located in Daizo Island. Now I love the fact that this series has a world map and it is actually being explored rather than being solely introduced as a concept. Even within the homeland of Yamato, we have been taken around different districts, which has also allowed diversity in attitudes, cultures, dialects, and of course, history. I also appreciate that Ishida has elected to take us on a longer yet strategic route through another land, being Higo, to get to Daizo, which could potentially give us further exploration within the plot, or if not, at least references in a montage-like page or a flashback. Now back to Sato. I'm gonna be speaking for myself and say that I will never fully be confident about his motivations until it is 100% revealed. His character right now is being crafted to a 5-star level of ambiguity, but I think it is time to draw the line in the sand, and at this point you could only be a Sato truther or someone who believes he is corrupt. And for one, myself, I am a Sato truther, dog. Like, I gotta say, I'm a Sato truther because It is more fun to have your heart broken than to say, I told you so. So if he ends up being on the opposite end of things, hey man, I'll have fun crying about it. Now, rewinding 2 weeks ago, we learned that Sato knew that this investigation would take some time. He was always going to give Tokio at least a month, but wanted to motivate him and said 2 weeks tops. I'll give you 2 weeks. Basically, he says, and I'm a truther, so I believe him. He always knew that Tokio was going to find a clue. Now, I know to you non-believers, it sounds a bit suspicious. Did he plant something? I don't know. Because it did seem as if Batista and Sato both expected something to happen back when the whole Palma situation went off. Then Sato approaches Tokio at the end of it and says, you always seem to surpass my expectations of you, or something along those lines, as if he didn't really expect Tokio to succeed, maybe, possibly, you know? Because you have to assume that Sato knew Tokio would follow a distress signal if he heard one, because, you know, Sato is his mentor, who declared that Tokio's weakness is his goodwill. But at the end of the conversation, even Arthur 1 is walking away, questioning Sato's approach. Now, as we begin to close out the chapter, once again, Tokio is back at the drawing board, preparing for this mission. And I have to say, I love how we don't see Tokio ever looking to take a break or wind down. Coming from the beginning of this series to now, we see that he has really dove into something he seems to enjoy and has also found composure within it. He's a powerful Yamato Mori keeper, he's had hardships, and he's potentially the next generational Choujin, but his personality has not been made over. He's still the same Tokio, but he has found his own lane to maneuver in, and we also see subtle glimpses of his old self after talking to Azuma, which influences his leadership style for this next mission. Now, that is another chapter down for the books. We do have the dynamic duo back in Ellie and Tokio on this mission, but you know, something is gonna go down. Maybe Batista pops back up, maybe some other villainous Choujin. But as far as the remaining chunk of this volume, because currently I believe this is volume 9, depending on what happens, I think we either get Sato for the next cover or we get Momoma, just because we recently got Simon. If this shit really gets wild, I think it's gonna be Sato for our cover. Maybe, I don't know, but I do know when we get that volume cover, that shit is gonna be peak.